I think Reg has a list coming real soon here. That,
yeah. You know how I feel about these lists, but anyway.
Oh, yikes! Yeah. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
I have to ask right quick on this conversation. That day, I think you put something out there, and I think people misunderstood it. And you were saying, what black wrestlers would you put as your top 10 in the world? And you were just like, I'm trying to see something. A lot of people didn't quite understand what you meant. I'm giving you the floor to clarify that, because I think people tried to jump to conclusions on you.
Yeah, which they do. And I knew, that's why I said I'm trying to see something. And a lot of people did exactly what I thought they'd do. Some people, why is it a black thing? Why is it like this? And then some people just continue to make another top 10 black wrestlers list. I'm like, I hate when people just call like one of their favorite black wrestlers or something like that the GOAT, or they just say like they're my favorites, they're one of the best in the world, they're the best, they're the best, they're the best, they're the best. Okay, but where do you compare him to like a Seth Rollins? Oh, I think Seth. Okay, where do you compare him to a Brock Lesnar? Where do you compare him to like a Ospreay, a Kenny, the Bucks, Adam Page, a Punk? And then that's when we start naming all these like great performers out there, a Riddle, like all these guys, our name starts dropping a little bit more and more and more and more and more and more. So then it comes to the point we just make a whole nother list to separate it all together. So I'm like, so what are we doing? Are we like, do we compete on the same level? Mm-hmm. Or do we always have to be just separated? It's like putting women in an all men's list. There are a lot of women that are better than a lot of guys I've seen.
That's facts.
But do you put them over some of the top male performers in the world?
I gotta go.
No, so we can't do that.
Put you on the list? Yes. Do you want me to put you on the list? Yes or no, Swerve? Tell me right now, because I don't have time for this drama.
That's up to you. That's up to you. That's up to you. It's just like we gotta start looking at these lists very interestingly. I don't want to call out names and put people like, oh, why are you putting so and so over so and so, stuff like that. There is that, but it's like, come on, man, the body of work means something. You can't just like throw people away that have like main evented WrestleMania and putting some guys who haven't even been on TV or working on like darks above these guys. I'm like, that's very disrespectful to those guys that have done a lot of things and like literally like changed wrestling, made moments in the biggest stage in the world, and then you're putting like a lot of people who haven't even signed contracts, or I'm not saying contracts he's even that big of a deal, but who haven't really done enough to even consider that kind of acumen to be even compared side by side. It's almost like the top 200 hip hop list. It's like this album hasn't had enough growth to even be considered past like It's Dark and Hell is Hot from DMX, to be considered past NWA, to be considered past All Eyes on Me from Tupac and stuff like that. I'm like, this hasn't had enough body of work and growth to even be compared side by side with these albums. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the performers. And that, to me, is disrespectful to like a Bobby Lashley, putting him 11 or something like that, to like guys who are just starting to get some momentum now. It's like, no, you can't just throw away all of his history of what he's done. That's like disrespectful to Bobby. That's disrespectful to Kofi's. That's disrespectful to Big E, who broke his neck and can't even wrestle right now, but you're putting all these people before him. Like, no, like to me, that's just disrespectful. And then like, that's just a whole nother conversation in itself. You can't just throw away people's legacies like that because somebody's having a moment now. That's just me.